Hello, welcome back. This is the second part in a little video series of 2 where I'm talking through key signatures, how to work them out for majors and minors, how we work out our relative minors as well, the fact that minor scales are going to have sharpened leading notes, the leading note being the 7th note of the scale. And today what we're going to be looking at is how we work out the key of a piece of music based on a bunch of notes. So this is one of the things we get asked in our grade 5 theory, and one of the things is, for example, if we're given I literally have a keyboard in front of me. Why do I make life difficult for myself? Bum, 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 bum. If we had this piece of music, what key is it in? And hilariously, it could actually be in 2 different keys. This could actually be in either G major or in E minor. So we know it can only be in G major because it's got 1 sharp. It doesn't have the 2nd sharp because that's C sharp. And this isn't the C sharp, this is C natural. The reason it could be in either G major or in E minor is that, first of all, those are the 2 relative majors and minors of one another. So they both have F sharp. But we have to remember that when we're dealing with minors, they're also going to sharpen the leading note, and that's going to be the 7th note of the scale. So what do we think the leading note of E minor is? Have a little think. The leading note of E minor is D. And so we're going to sharpen that D to be a D sharp. So for example, if this was actually a D, then I would be able to tell you this is in G major. Hilariously, this could also be in D major, but who cares? So the point is, this would definitely be in the major, and this would be in the minor. Okay, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little because I'm not entirely sure that's the clearest of things. So let's just do that again. So for clarity, I'm also going to change this to a C. This piece of music is in G major because it has an F sharp. So that is the key signature of G. If I scroll all the way back, then we'll be able to see that. Bam. And it's also not got the leading note of the relative minor. And the relative minor for G is going to be E minor. We know this because we start on our major and we go down by 3 semitones. So G, F sharp, F, E. And so E minor is the relative major of G. E minor is the relative minor of G. And the leading note of E minor would be D sharp. We don't have a D sharp, so that means that this is definitely in G major. So this is one of those things we have to be aware of. I'm just going to actually put it here just so we can. G major. And actually, I'm just going to do some formal things here. So we're going to take this into 4/4. Going to have this nice and resoundingly finish on a minim. And we're just going to put a couple of things here. So G major. I'm also just, do we care? Yeah, we do care. Right, we're just going to get rid of this stave. We don't need it. Remove, or staff, I should say. All right, cool. We're going to make a couple of copies of this because we're going to use these as our examples, and we're going to delete them. All right, we're just basically making some bars. All right, this one, and let's just give this a double bar line while we're here. This is a quick Dorico tutorial. I love Dorico. Dorico is great. Let's make some double bars. Double bars. That's fine. And honestly, we'll just probably get rid of the rest of them. And then we'll just engrave. So we're just going to make systems of these. Don't care about the bar lines too much. Right, so back to business. What key is this piece of music in? This piece of music is in bum bum bum. It has got 2 flats, and they are the correct flats. What do I mean by the correct flats? We have to remember that the flats have to be in the order of battle ends and down goes Charles's father. So the first 2 flats are B flat and E flat, and those are the 2 that we see here. B flat, E flat. Okay, so 2 flats. See if you can remember what key that's going to be in. 2 flats is B flat major, okay? So I literally don't know why I did that, but that's just a way of doing it, I guess. B flat major. Now, the thing we then also have to check is that it's not in the minor. And this is a really, really valuable thing for us to remember how to do. First of all, we have to work out the relative minor of this major. What's the relative minor of B flat major? The relative minor of B flat major is G minor. The reason we know this is we go from our root and then we go down by 3 semitones. So we start on B flat, A flat, G. So that gives us G minor. So I'm going to put equals G minor, question mark. And then we realize, so the proof of this is the leading note of G minor sharpened. So what's the leading note of G minor? The leading note of G minor is F. So what's F if it's sharpened? F sharp. Do we have an F sharp? No, got F. So that means that this is only going to be B flat minor. And that's really, really valuable for us to get the hang of. Going to take a look at another one. Okay. So this one. What key is this? So first thing is that we have one sharp. So that means it's in G major, yeah? No, because the first sharp has got to be F sharp. Again, the order of sharps is super, super important. We've got Father, Charles. F is the first sharp. This is not an F sharp. This is a G sharp. So for right now, we're going to imagine that there's absolutely no sharps or flats whatsoever, which would put this in C major. So first thing, we can imagine this is in C major. But of course we can't, because that's such nonsense. What we have is we have this sharp. And what we have to remember is that there's only, at grade 5 theory, for the particular question we're trying to ask and answer, the particular question we're trying to answer, is that the only time we're going to be seeing a rogue sharp is if it's a sharpened leading note. And so the sharpened leading note, well, the sharpened leading note is G sharp, because we see that. So if that is a leading note, that's the last note of the scale, G sharp. So that means that the root note is just above that one. So what's a semitone up from G sharp? A. This piece of music right here is in A minor. It has no sharps or flats. A minor is the relative minor of C major, equals no sharps or flats, but does have the sharpened leading note, which is the 7th note of the scale. Okay, and this is really, really valuable for us to kind of understand. Don't think there's anything else to talk about with that one. All right, now we're going to go through a couple of the slightly more sketchy ones, which do happen, and I think they're really interesting. So let's take a look. Let me just try and be a little bit clever about this. Hang on. Okay, so we're going to do... All right. So what key is this piece of music in? It's a bit obnoxious, actually. It would be written out as that. Yeah, okay. All right, let's do it as that. So this piece of music right here is very confusing to us. E, in fact, you know what? E, D sharp, B sharp, A, G sharp, C sharp. If we look at our good friend Father Charles Goes Down and Ends Battle, we're incredibly confused because this doesn't make any sense to us whatsoever. Because we know that the first sharp has got to be F. Just for clarity, I'm actually just going to copy and paste that over. Okay, so order of sharps. I should have just copied and pasted the little thing, but it's still order of sharps. Okay. Right, the main problem here, well, sorry, the first problem, I should say, is that there is no F sharp. Now, I say that's a problem because we need to see the sharps in order, but actually, it's not a problem at all because we don't have an F. None of these notes are F, which means that we don't know if it's F sharp or F natural. So for right now, we can just imagine that it is. And I know that seems really, really strange, but we can just pretend that we do have an F sharp because there's no reason we don't have an F sharp. We can't prove it either way. From then, we then take a look at what we've got. So F sharp, let's imagine we have got that. There's no proof that we don't, so let's imagine we do. Got C sharp, got G sharp, got D sharp, and we've got B sharp. So inexplicably, we've jumped A and E. So that clearly means we've got just all of our sharps, all 7 sharps. So that's going to mean we're in C sharp major, which is not correct. So what we actually have is we have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Now, what I personally do is to look at what sharp is not correct and then try and work out what's going on. And the sharp that is not correct is B sharp. And the only reason that we can see a sharp in its incorrect place is if it's going to be a sharpened leading note. Notice we've got an A. That should be a sharp if we were going to do this properly. In fact, E should also be a sharp. So we know that something wonky is going on there. F is fine, C is fine, G is fine, D is fine. But from then it all gets a little sketchy. What we can see here is that this is actually a sharpened leading note. And if this is a sharpened leading note, so that's the sharpened 7th note of the scale, what is going to be 1 semitone higher than that 7th note of the scale? And the answer is going to be C sharp. And because it's a raised 7th note, that means that this is going to be C sharp minor. Okay, C sharp minor has got the 4 sharps of E major, but it also has got that raised 7th note. And honestly, when you're working out whether or not it's a major or minor, or if you've got in a bunch of obscure sharps or flats or whatever, look at which one is out of place and then try and work out if that note can be a sharpened 7th note, okay? Because that's the big old deal. Right, we're going to do one more. Spoiler alert, it will be minor. So let's take a look here. We did this. This is, I think, like one of the actual things. I'm going to respell this in a second because clearly there are some issues. Yep. And that doesn't need to have a sharp in front of it. But Dorico will make us because it wants us to be all correct and stuff. Basically, it wants us to be a cautionary accidental. I think I can probably get rid of it, but accidental. Yeah, there we go. It's gone. All right. So in fact, sorry, just to resolve this one, C sharp minor. Relative of E major equals 4 sharps plus the sharpened leading note of B sharp. All right, that resolves that one. Okay, and we'll just do this one more. What have we got? So just quickly, I'm going to copy and paste over the order of flats. Battle ends and down goes. Order of flats equals. Alrighty. So, a couple of things we want to be aware of. First flat is B flat. Don't have it. Got B natural. And immediately, without looking at anything else, I know this is in C minor. Because of the presence of a bunch of other flats and a B natural, this has got to be in C minor. Because this is a sharpened leading note. Again, these sharpened leading notes are like the biggest deal when we're trying to work this stuff out. Because as long as we know that was meant to be a B flat, but because in the minors we raise that 7th, it goes up to a B natural. It's the leading note going up to the root, which is only 1 semitone up from that. It's only just close because the sharpened leading note is the 7th note of the scale, which takes us up to the root note. That means that this is going to be C minor. And honestly, it can be that quick just to look through it. And that's always what I'll check out for. If you had and this is the thing, if you had a key signature, it would be a C natural. Oh, in fact, it's literally from the second note. You can kind of, well, from this bar, you can see that this is going to be in C minor. Because C minor, honestly, like B natural equals sharpened 7th note. Also has E flat and A flat, therefore could be E flat major, but isn't because of the fact that it's got the B natural there. Just for posterity and just for funsies, we'll do a major one. Spoilers, that's going to be a major, but it's good for us to be aware of. We're going to do 2 more because we can. Yeah, 5. All right, a couple more. Okay, this is the first one. What have we got? Have a think. I'll just zoom in a touch. Okay, got oodles of sharps. Yeah, so what we first off do, if we've got loads of sharps, and if you want to write them in, that's completely fine. So F sharp, C sharp, A sharp, F sharp, E sharp, D sharp, C sharp. What we do is I'm going to go back and get our good friend Father Charles. So Father Charles is for our sharps. Silly, why is that not working? Yeah, because I'm using the wrong thing. So order of sharps. Order of sharps. All right, F sharp, C sharp, blah, blah, blah. So we do have an F sharp. We do have a C sharp. Do we have a G sharp? No, but we don't have a G natural, so we can just pretend that we do have a G sharp. D sharp, cool, we got that. A sharp, we have that. E sharp, we have that. B sharp, we do not have that because there's a B natural. So we have ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sharps. And if we remember how we find the key signature from the number of sharps, we take the last sharp and we go up by 1 semitone. Up by 1 semitone from an E sharp is going to be an F sharp. This is an F sharp major. The thing we then have to check is whether or not this could possibly be in the minor. So we have to think of the relative minor of F sharp major. So that's going to be F sharp. And then we go down 3 semitones to F, to E, to D sharp. So we've got to think of the fact that in D sharp minor, we would be raising that 7th note. The 7th note of D sharp minor would be C sharp. So raised C sharp would be C double sharp. And we don't have a C double sharp, we've got C, just normal C sharp. So that means that this is not going to be in minor, this is only in major, okay? Let me know if that makes any sense, but that is actually how it works. And then very finally, let's just do one more for fun. All right, and then what's this in? So, got flats. Got to think of our order of flats. That's battle ends. Down goes Charles's father. We see we've got a B flat. So you've got an E flat. Do we have an A flat? No, we've got an A natural. So that means that we've got a 2 flat key signature, which if we remember is B flat major. And then the last thing we do is check whether or not it could be the relative minor. And if you're going to be in B flat, then we think B flat, A flat, G. And that means that G minor is the relative of B flat. And that means that the sharpened 7th note of G minor would be F sharp. Do we have an F sharp? No, we've got an F natural. So this piece of music right here is in B flat major. Bam. So that is an explanation of how we work out the key of a piece of music from the notes that we've got there, okay? So I hope that's been of help. I haven't tried doing this kind of thing before, so do let me know what you think, and if I can be of any assistance, if I can do any follow-up videos, do let me know, and have yourself a lovely, lovely day. Take care. Bye.